We are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to The Show Must Go On line. Today's guest is Jacklyn Thrapp. How are you doing today?
Oh, doing great. It's a beautiful day in New York City, so I'm happy to be here.
Excellent. Happy to hear it. Happy to hear it. It is a nice but chilly day here in Washington State. And here's my dog Slimbo.
He knew the show was starting.
He did. We were just talking off the live portion of this, off camera, if you will, and he inevitably only starts barking in the 3 minutes leading up to the show, and then once it gets started. And I'm going to now close.
He's out.
And now we're going to do a very fancy in or out.
I'm always hit or miss with animals. Some of them like me, some of them don't. See, I try to hug animals like a little too much, and they don't like it. Like you know that animals usually want enough love, and I give them way too much, and then it's just like, okay, well, that would explain other things in my life. Love me.
Loves me.
Where's your dog go? Is your dog still there?
He's right here. He's just eating.
So cute. Oh, so cute. Dogs
I love
are great.
him.
I can't take care of dogs though. I can't. I don't want to feed them and I don't want to walk them, but I want to cuddle.
So you'd be like a good dog aunt, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm gonna watch my roommate's cat in a few weeks. That's gonna be great. It's like a few days. It feeds itself because she has an electric thing. I'm just gonna cuddle with it if it lets me. It won't. I've tried. It's over me. Oh, but back to Broadway.
Back to Broadway.
Talk about cats on Broadway, which I did see that movie. Okay, but yeah. So how's it going? Going good? Good day?
Good day. Good day. Yes, I love this. It's like animals and Broadway. They go hand in hand.
I know.
But
cats.
Cats, yes, especially. So let's start at the very beginning, a very good place to start, and tell us your origin story. What got you into theater and writing and producing and, I mean, all of the hats that you wear?
I've had such a weird journey. So let's start. I started in high school. So I don't tell the story too much. So in high school, I auditioned for my freshman play and musical. Never made it into the play, got background in the musical. My sophomore year, I auditioned for the same again. Never made it into the play, got background in the musical. Junior, same. Never made it into the play, got background in the musical. And I was like, you know what? No, you guys suck. So I just stopped going to it, and they kicked me out of my junior musical where I was a background. And then instead of musical theater, this is a crazy story. So instead of musical theater, I was like, you know who's going to put me on air? I bet you the TV production kids will put me on air because there's only one girl in there and it's going to be me. And so I was doing like YouTube and content creation before content creation was cool and before Instagram. So I was like the one girl in a video production class. So there was me and there was me. And so then after a while, I started going into contests for video production, and there was Skills USA had a little thing for journalism because I'm a journalist by day and entertainment producer by night. So there was like no competition for Skills USA. So I thought, okay, cool. So the top 3 get to go to state and the winner gets to go to Kansas City. And there were only 3 teams in the entire state of Colorado. So that means I was initially going to go to state either way. So I did that. Anyway, long story short, I basically just like went into the places where no one was going because there was no competition because I couldn't get it in. I couldn't make the musical for 3 years. So I know it's a shame. That's why I'm a writer. Okay. So then I graduated. Is your mic on? I can't hear you. I hear you laughing, but I can't. Oh, you turned it off.
I turned it off because Slim was having water and it was
barking. Oh, I was like, are you laughing? I hear it, but is anyone hearing my story? Okay, cool.
Yes,
so I'll keep telling you.
Yes.
So sorry, musical theater kids, love you now. Wasn't a fan in high school. I was like, no, no one likes to hear me sing or act or dance or be in the room. Okay, so then what I did is I went to a radio broadcasting school because again, so the tuition fee was like super, super cheap. And again, they accept everybody. They audition you, but that is a joke. That is such a joke. Like that school, it was the Ohio Center for Broadcasting in Denver. Now it's called Colorado Media School, I think. I lost my certificate from there. I don't know where that went, but it's a joke. But I graduated, and during that, I had all these great internships though. So I interned doing promotions and radio. I was a producer for a national radio, syndicated radio show, but it's an intern. But he gave me the producer title when I was which I do a lot these days with people who kind of shadow me. I actually give them producer titles because that producer title or associate producer title, like those, just having that title on any show at all is such a groundbreaking way to break into the industry. So whenever I work with interns, they're always producers on my stuff. Not my recent stuff. My recent stuff actually has big time producers that I paid. But early days, like one of my, oh no, I'm not going to spill it. I'm not going to spill the beans. But I have worked with someone who I gave a producer credit, but it was not. Okay. Anyway, so I did the radio. This is the longest story. So I did the radio, and then I graduated that class, and I was an intern. And that when that all ended, I also was like, okay, well, I have my certificate. I'm 19 years old. I'm just going to apply to like the number one state that will probably take anyone, which is Nebraska. And that's what I did. And I got a job as a reporter in Nebraska at 19 because of they did ask though if I had a degree, and I didn't say no. So that was a surprise. I'm such a liar. I feel so bad. Everyone, people go to college or do stuff like this, and I was just like, no, I'm just gonna go into the places where no one goes and see if it works out. And then went to Nebraska. I was very, very bad. Everyone will say that I was very bad. And then I went to Grand Junction, Colorado. Got a lot better, but I worked with great people there. And then eventually became a producer in Denver. And then I thought I peaked at 21. And I actually loved that station in Denver. I'm interviewing with them tomorrow on Channel 2. Love that station. I would have stayed forever. If I would have arrived there when I was 30, I would have stayed forever. And I would have like met a country boy or a mountain man, moved to Golden where they make Coors beer and drank it all day for the rest of my life. But I came early. So I was like, you know what? I love my job there. I love my friends. I love my family. But I want to try to write something entertaining. Because, in high school, I tried and I failed. So then I just thought, okay, well, I can't peak at 21. That's a terrible place to peak. So I was like, you know what? I love Denver. It'll always be there for me. But I'm going to go give New York City a try. So I wrote an off-Broadway play. I took a community college playwriting class in Denver. And I wrote this play called The Christmas Fart. And is this too long of a story? Can I keep going?
This is perfect. I'm loving all of this.
Okay.
But I do want to just take a quick moment. I'm hearing a little of like, I don't know if it's the mic hitting against your hair or something.
It is because I have a lot of hairspray.
Oh, okay. I just wanted
I'm coughing because I'm... Yeah, it's probably the hairspray. My hair isn't naturally this wavy. I've been talking too much. Now I'm coughing. That's what happens. I cough, I talk, and I lose my voice. Okay, so it is this totally my hair. I'm going to make it really, really attractive and not hit the mic. Okay, I think that, yeah, this is good. Okay, so anyway, in Denver, I took this community college community college playwriting class. You know what I'll do? I'll just do this so you can still see my proof. I'm so vain. Look at me. Okay, so then in Denver,
this is all,
I spent a lot of time. I got something in my FabFitFun box that I'm trying out with my hair today. I gotta have it happen the way that I chose. Okay, so then I wrote a play called The Christmas Fart. It was about my family at Christmas because Christmases are crazy there and in Denver or Nevada. And I submitted it to this like festival at the community college, and they rejected it. And I was like so offended. I couldn't believe that my 10-minute play was rejected about farts and family and hillbilly times. So then I was like, you know what? No, this is good. So then I sent it to places all across the nation, including New York City, and the Manhattan Repertory Theater that's still here. They accepted it. And so I found out, I was like, what? You accepted my 10-minute play about farts and family? And it's a small theater. It's an off-Broadway theater, but they said yes. Yeah. And then I said, cool. And they said, okay, we'll be out here in a month. And I had a month to figure that out. So I took the time off for like a week and flew to New York City. I found the cast through Craigslist, and all of them showed up except for one. And then we had our little Christmas fart show. And when I was there, I realized like that was the first time I was around comedians. Because in Denver, we have a comedy scene, but we don't have like a New York or a LA or a Chicago comedy scene. This is like, that was the first time I realized, oh my gosh, there are other people out there that are kind of like me and that are really going for it. And, and I don't want to peak at 21. So I might as well see what's up. So I even told one of my friends at the time that I just met, friend now, acquaintance then. And I told them, I was like, I'm going to move here. I'm going to move to New York. And I did. And a few months later, I moved out here to New York City. Loved my job. It was really hard to leave Denver because I loved my job and I loved my life. But moved out to New York City. Oh my gosh, I wrote some really bad stuff. It was bad. There was one play I wrote. I don't even know if the title is appropriate. So I'm just gonna say I wrote a play that was like this older woman trying to hit on a younger guy outside a bar because he reminded her of the soldier who took her virginity. It was bad. It was so bad. No one laughed. And so I wrote it and then reacted. And then it was a 10-minute play too. Thank God. But it was so bad. No one laughed. And then I wrote a lot of other I wrote a lot of other things, try to get into that. That didn't work. And so then one day I did improv and I did sketch. And then one day I just sat down and I was like, you know what? I'm sick of writing what you think I should write. I'm going to write my own thing. And that's when I just started writing about failing in New York. And that started, there was a scene that started out with two news producers at a bar, just one of them wanted to be a writer and was bad. The other one was his boss and he was like, you'll get there. And anyway, as time went on, I just started writing about how hard New York is. And that turned into my off-Broadway musical, Good Morning, New York. So that initial scene that I wrote of the just producers at a bar turned into like a big tap dance number. And then I don't know how to write music. So then I hired a few composers to come on board and write the music and then contribute to the lyrics. I did most of the lyrics. I wrote the book. We had a bunch of workshops. It really had a ways to go. Musicals are hard. Like I thought for some reason I was like, oh, easy, but that was hard. And that happened. Good Morning, New York was great. And I guess we'll go into my other stuff later. But I will say that, Good Morning, New York happened when I just kind of didn't really care if people liked what I had. Yes, that's a long story. Isn't that long? Oh, by the way, Christmas Fart is an audio drama, and that's coming out December 1st, 2020. So you're actually going to see it for Audible and Apple Books and Google Play. I'm a little delayed on Audible, but they say it's coming. So that'll come out. So Christmas Fart, I extended it to a full-length play. We got some off-Broadway people in there. We got some voiceover guys in there. So it's a pretty good play now.
That is so exciting. I have to say, this whole story. That's what we're here for. It's a conversation. There are no guidelines or whatnot, but it is really good to just hear people's journeys because your journalism work is what then inspired also then Good Morning New York.
Because that was about the overnight shift. And because I forgot to mention that. When I moved out here, I just transferred stations and I was working overnight. So not only could I not get any play produced for the life of me, but I had to work from 1 a.m. to 9 a.m. I don't know if you ever had that in your journalism career. That is the hardest shift because you're sleeping in the day where everything happens. You can't date people. You can't drink at 5 p.m. You can. You'll be fired. You can. You can.
Yeah, there are things you could do, but you probably shouldn't because then you won't have a job. But for anyone who's watching and doesn't know, I'm an on-air. I was an on-air journalist at CBS 7 in West Texas for 2 years, and I did work the morning shift, the 2 a.m. to noon shift or whatnot. So I very much understand the. Everyone's like, oh, we're going out to dinner. And I'm like, cool, I'm going to sleep. And it's just a very different way of doing things. But that also made your show even more enjoyable for me because I'm like, I get those references. And even I remember you asked for some photos from actual journalists, and there was like the clip of me and oh my
Ryan
God.
Reynolds?
No, it's similar. Ant-Man. Why I'm now gonna
Is that not Ryan Reynolds?
No,
Oh.
he's Daredevil.
Paul
Paul
Rudd?
Rudd. Paul
There we
Rudd.
Yeah.
And it was just so cool that you actually had that like detail. I love those details in a show. So let's stay with Good Morning New York for a few minutes and then we'll expand to all of your other shows. So you talked about that there's so much that goes into it and you're writing it, you're producing it, you're doing the music and everything and it's off Broadway. Are there any like, I don't know, general thoughts or advice that for people who are like starting out doing that type of stuff that maybe you wish that you had known ahead of time?
Oh my goodness. There's so many things. Where to start? Okay. So I think that a lot of people don't know, which is my main thing. Is my mic good? I fixed my hair again. Can you hear me okay?
What if you just take out the mic and use the general?
That is a billion times. What the? Doing that earlier. Can you hear me?
Let's talk a few seconds.
Can you hear me now?
All right, I think we're good. And shout out to Andy here commenting along. Let us know if you think the audio's there good as well. So
yeah,
let's try this.
Is it my brother or is it my director for Shelf Life? Or is it just
Andy's actually so many Andys. It's actually one of my friends, a show Treon, part of the B-Way Show Patreon squad.
Oh, cool. All right, yeah. So, okay, Good Morning New York. What I wish that people knew, can you hear me? The audio's good?
It's a little choppy, but let's see. Sometimes it takes a few seconds to kind of like catch up.
Okay, cool. So what I wish that people knew is that there are so many theaters in New York City that are free. Like, you don't have to pay. Like, we had our Off-Broadway show, we got into the residency program, which is a little harder to get into, but that's a 50-50 split. So I don't have to pay for the theater up front. They give it to me for free, and then we split the royalties, which was nice. Or all ticket sales. So that was nice.
Wow.
But there's so many theaters like the People's Improv Theater, that's free. And if you've done shows there before, they will split the ticket sales with you too, which is like $3 sometimes, but still. So like you have all of these off-Broadway theaters, even Manhattan Repertory Theater, you can do a show there and it's free. So there's so many theaters that will let you give you a 10-minute play, or there's a festival you can do it free. There's all these like very small, low budget theaters who are more than happy to at least put your play up to see if it's good. And that's where I played. So that's where like when I was first starting, I was like, okay, I kept going to Manhattan Rep and the People's Improv Theater just to see if it even worked. And once those free theaters said, yes, this works, an audience comes, then I actually will start paying, I guess, a bigger budget production, which is what you saw for Good Morning New York, because that started at a warehouse somewhere in Brooklyn, or a dance studio. I know a warehouse. But we started the first rehearsal or first workshop of Good Morning New York somewhere in Brooklyn. The lights were on. It was in the middle of a Saturday afternoon, and that was fine. We had like 7 people come. And then we had a lot to rewrite from that, which we did. Then we went to the Pit, People's Improv Theater, where they gave us 3 shows for 3 weeks just to workshop it. Minimal set. There's shows before us and after us. So we have to like lug the set in and then take it out every day. Wow. But that showed us what was good, what was bad. It was all free. The actors were still very new, not very new, but like non-union and trying to get out in the New York scene as well. So it was a perfect combination of me, the composer, the actors, just like doing it all for free to see if it works. When it did, then we went to the Off-Broadway theater, got our playbills, and then actually made it something that people would like to see. But I will say, the set, I could have done better on the set. I won't go into what happened. All I'm going to say is like, the set was hard. There was not a lot of budget for the set. Yeah. And I would also say that if you ever do pay for a production, that set better be hot. Because
good to know.
Not a good set.
Okay, amazing. So I'm gonna now. I know we're taking a lot of time on this audio, but you know that thing sometimes it's like workshopping. I would venture to say maybe put them back in. It is a crap.
Story. Okay, hold on. What do
I could hear it, but it's like a little crackly. But just
it's
like
weird 'cause it's crackly for yours too. Is that what you think? It's a connection? That's so weird.
Oh,
Let's see. Yeah, is
weird.
that okay? Yeah.
Ooh.
I think it's crackly all around. What do people say on that are listening? Do they say it's
Andy's
crackly?
saying it's good, which I appreciate. Andy, let us know now. But this sounds a lot better now.
Oh, good. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good. Whatever works. Zoom's
Maybe
fine.
there was like a missed plug or something, so that sometimes happens.
Yeah. Does it happen through an
Anyway.
app? Oh yeah. Anyway, yeah. We can talk about that later. But yes,
Yeah.
Tell me when my audio is off, and I'll do whatever it takes.
Yeah.
I have a Zoom mic right here. We can record me, and then I'll send you the files, and then you'll put it over there. Just joking. It's not on. It's not on. It's also cheap and probably broken. Anyway, what was your next question?
No, that's all great. But I was gonna say off of that point is that you, from the beginning, from when I first met you, you always have this like very strong, like go-getter attitude and just like, we'll get it done and we're gonna do this. And I love that it always seems like you have these like ideas shooting out and you're like, I don't only have the ideas, I'm going to figure out how to get them. I'm going to find out how we're going to do the fundraising and we're going to get the money. And then like I told you off air that like I was listening to your podcast and it was really cool hearing about just like how you got the wine from some places and then you use that wine and you like gave them this like different information. So basically, how do you marry the money aspect of like producing with also being a creative in the writing process?
Yeah. So I'm happy you mentioned the wine and the alcohol, because here's another secret people don't know. Wherever you produce your play, whether it's Denver or New York City or wherever, there's always a local brewery that is willing to donate free beer that you can sell for $7 a glass and then make money. So like I probably made about maybe about $1,000 because we had from just alcohol donations that then I made for cash that then I paid the cast with. So I have sponsors that I work with. I won't say it now because then everyone's going to attack them and then they'll be like, why did you tell us? But yeah, basically you just write to your beer company, say, hey, production, can you donate? We will sell. What I do is I trade product placement in return for their name being in the set or the script. So like I had one company donate $250 worth of alcohol, one winery local, which is true. New York has local wineries. Donate $500 of wine that we sold. And like that can pay for your entire production if you're just starting out. So that's actually how I've been doing it early on. As time went on, I really had to just stop eating out and save my own money. But yeah, I say those alcohol companies, let me tell you, you can totally produce a small show and pay everyone with just alcohol sales alone. But besides that, the money's hard. I mean, I saved up for mine. I had investors, which I won't do again. Because I had a lower, I will do investors obviously, but I won't go as low. Because like my opening investment was $500, and then like they call you a lot, and then like and it's just like okay, $500. It's a lot of money, but it's also like Broadway shows. Their opening investment is between $20,000 and $50,000. Wow. So like me for a $500 investment, it's just like I don't know. I don't know. Like I had people that would come. I had one not very nice person who wanted to invest, but this person did not have the money. And then she's like, I'll take it out of my retirement. I'll pay. And I was like, no, it's cool, but don't. So I wouldn't ever work with low budget investors again. If I did investors, I would go equity with a general manager and union if I were ever to do investors. Otherwise, I'll just pitch it. But I haven't ever pitched anything. So.
Wow. But hey, you learn these things, right? Like that's part of the whole process is going through this and things that you wish you could do differently, but now you're working on these new projects. So let's start you know, you were actually one of the last people I saw in New York before I flew out here.
Yes.
Because I want to just quickly talk about you did these awesome like these food boxes for anyone in theater, anyone who needed it at the beginning of the pandemic. And that was so nice and helpful. And how'd you come up with that idea?
So that I remember that day so vividly because that was a crazy day, that day that I
Yeah.
saw you. Because was that the same day that they announced the closure? Or was it,
It
no,
was
it might have been the next day.
it was either that day or the next day, but it was definitely that. I mean, because I left
24
that
hours.
Friday. So
Okay, yeah, that 24 hours was insane. Okay, so and you probably remember this so well too. So they announced, okay, who knows where I was? I was somewhere near Times Square. They announced that Cuomo is shutting down he's limiting capacity to less than 250 people. So like I was near Times Square. I walked over to the TKTS booth. They were all shocked because, like, some people just bought their ticket and they were like, "Wait a second, Broadway shut down now?" It was. I had a podcast episode about that. I don't know what episode it was, but I interviewed the people from London who were like, "I just bought." They're like, "Wait, so we can't." I don't know if they bought their ticket or not, but they were like, "So we can't see a show? We just flew here to see a show." And then I walked over to Six, where that Six was about to open up that night. That Broadway shut down, and there was like a flower guy carrying, I have a video of it, like carrying flowers into the theater, like not knowing, I guess, that show's not happening until further notice. So that happened, and then I went to Olive Garden and I cried, and I ate and I cried.
yeah,
It's all right. I didn't cry that much. I cried a little. They didn't see.
Yeah.
They didn't see because I hid it in the breadsticks that I had. It was like me and a breadstick wiping. That's a nice
tears
straw.
and breadsticks.
Reusable straws in New York. Yeah, tears and breadsticks. And I was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I was so sad. And then I just was like, well, I have to do something. And so I went over to Whole Foods, which was all of the shelves were empty. Oh my gosh, that was insane. And then I didn't know what to do. And so I just found I think it was the Indian food section that was like the only section that actually had food still on the shelf. So I was like, okay, I don't know what any of this is, but I'll buy it. So I bought the only food available at Whole Foods, and some eggs as well. And then I just put a thing on Instagram being like, okay, well, there's no food right now. They're out of food in Whole Foods and people are now out of work. So if anyone's hungry, just reach out to me. And I wish that I had more to offer than like some Indian food and 2 eggs, and I forgot what else was in it.
There's like an orange.
Oh yeah, an orange. Yeah. I'm so happy that I was able to provide that because people did take me up on it. At the same time, I wish that I could have provided more. And now I just have a nice storage unit of canned goods. If this ever happened, not storage unit. I have like 5 canned goods. Where if this ever happens again, you 5 people are going to eat a nice lunch. But yeah, I was so sad. I just wanted to help. And that's like the only thing I could do. Because I figured like the first thing that's going to happen is people are going to be hungry. Thank God, though, they restocked those shelves. I did not think food was coming for days.
Yeah. No, that was, I mean, just a quick anecdote that it was great. I brought that home to my grandma and she ate it. And you had like I guess they were like protein bars. Or,
that's what I had. I had protein bars too. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was so helpful because it gave us a few days of just like, we had the rice that we already had for the week. And then we had that. And then I flew out here to be at my boyfriend's place with this adorable dog. And it was really nice knowing that I wasn't just like leaving my grandma and Annette, her caretaker, with like nothing, so that was just, I appreciated it very much. So thank you.
Oh, happy to help. I wish I could I wish that I got I really went in there and I was like, I'm going to get sandwiches. I'm going to get bread and I'm going to get meat. And nothing was on the shelf. It was insane. So I think it was Indian food that I got, which looked quite tasty.
Oh, I heard it was really good.
That's good. Yeah.
I heard they really enjoyed it. So
that's very good. Yeah, because it looked quite tasty. I think people just left it there because they didn't really know what it was. Just like I didn't really know, but I was like, this looks good. And it's hearty, it's protein, not a lot of sugar. I don't know.
We could ask for.
I'm happy to help. That was a very hard time for I think everybody. Just everything shut down. I was so sad for weeks after that. People were out of work, still are out of work.
Yeah.
It's New York is quite different these days.
That's what I'm hearing and seeing. And something that I think is a really unique time capsule is shelf life. So I'd love to hear a little bit about that.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to tell this story. I love telling this story because I've only said it not on TV. I've said it to like my close friends. So if John Marco watches this, cool. If he doesn't, well, then he should start watching this because this is how I found out who he was. So this is going to be an exclusive interview for you. So here's how I met John Marco. And he doesn't even know this story either. So Shelf Life, I have a movie on Amazon Prime called Shelf Life. I executive produced it, and it's about how the coronavirus pandemic changed the comedy scene. And the main comic in it, John Marco Cerezi, we have a little documentary with him of him performing on sidewalks and rooftops and outside because all the venues are closed. And then we have him doing a 30-minute set at the end. So that's what Shelf Life is, and how I met John Marco, which he doesn't know, was years and years ago when I was a very bad writer. So I would go to the People's Improv Theater, which does sketch comedy, improv, plays. That's where I workshop my plays for free, which you guys can too. And I love reality TV, dating shows. I love anything revolving dating. And one of his friends appeared in like Hinge's top 10 list of eligible singles. And I was like, oh, my friend Kelsey did too. So I was like, okay, well, I want to be on that list, but like, who are these people? So I saw that one of those guys was a comedian at the People's Improv Theater where I was doing improv and trying to learn how to write. And I was like, okay, cool. This guy's top 10 on Hinge, the dating app. I'm going to go to his show, his sketch comedy show. And I went, and that guy was there. He was great, very, very funny. But that's when he was on a team. I noticed John Marco, very tall, glasses. John Marco is hilarious. And I was watching, and I was like, who is that guy? And I followed everyone on that team on Instagram. I followed him for years. And without ever saying anything, like I never really did anything. Oh, another fun fact too. I did see John Marco again on the subway maybe a year later. And I was like, oh, John Marco, I just want to say I follow you on Instagram and it's so good. And then he was like, hey, thank you. That's very nice. And I think he was writing because he was going to a show. It's like, oh, thank you. Very, very nice. I got to finish writing this, but thanks for watching. And I was like, and so I met him twice, and he did not know that I met him. And then the pandemic happened, and he was doing. Yeah. So I've always been a longtime fan. He had no idea who I was, that I was a fan. And then oh my God, that's so funny because he has no idea that's about that story. Okay, and he's gonna watch it and be like, "Why didn't you tell me this when you met me?" Okay, so then pandemic happens. I'm in quarantine. We're all in quarantine. I'm like sad, but like he keeps writing jokes and tweeting jokes, and I'm just thinking like, what? He's still going? And so he was performing on sidewalks, which I thought was really weird because I always thought he was like the next big thing, and I still think he is. And comedy just made him go from like, he had a full year of 2020 with shows around the nation to going on to performing on a sidewalk in front of like 5 people. And I just kept thinking like, that is so unfortunate for this funny guy. And then I just thought, you know what? I have to put a camera on it. So I reached out to him and I said, hey, and he's also in Hanukkah Haunting as well. That's how I met him. He's in my audio drama Hanukkah Haunting, which is out now, has some Broadway people in it. That's Audible and not Audible. Audible soon. Audible's delayed. But Apple, they say it's coming. Apple Books, Google Play, Scribd. So he was in. That's how I asked him to be in that, just so I could like get to know him, just get a feel for him a little bit if I wanted to work with him or not. But I also thought he was funny and he's the next big thing, if he's not already the big thing. And so then he was fun to work with on Hanukkah Haunting. And then that was a socially distanced recording for our audio drama. Then I said, hey, can we meet for a beer and talk about shooting a coronavirus stand-up special? And he said yes. We met, and he pitched the documentary idea, actually. So that was his idea, which is funny because I work in news, and I didn't even think about that. That was his idea to do, and I said, okay, sure, I guess we'll find someone. So we actually did. My good pal, Andy Buck, is a director at CNN, or not a director. He's our director for the show, movie, but he's in the documentary unit at CNN. And he came on to direct it. And then John Marco's friend, Lindsay Elizabeth Hand, came on to co-produce it because she does a lot of film already. So we basically just put a camera on John Marco. We followed him around for a few weeks, and like police were busting his shows because like apparently the comedy was in some ways not, I guess, illegal because they're busting his shows. But like you can't do comedy in the city, or at least indoor comedy. And then someone was parallel parking as he was doing a sidewalk show.
Funny. That was hilarious.
And like, and our cameras are rolling for this, and it's just like this. It's great for TV, but so bad for John Marco, because like I can't imagine performing something and being like distracted. And every time we followed him, something always happened. There were kids always like playing near him, as he says it in the show. He's like, kids were playing near him as he tells his dirty jokes, and that did happen. So it's like it was such a great story, and he was such a fun guy to follow around with the camera, because he's like I felt like he was the only person who said, no, New York City, I'm gonna do comedy and you're gonna laugh and it's gonna continue on. So for me, it was a no-brainer to want to put a camera on him, and it's doing well. NPR just named us one of their top 2020 comedy specials of the year, which was nice. So yeah, it's doing really well, and I'm so happy that his friend was on Hinge 10 years ago. Oh, not 10 years, because why did I say 10? Someone texted me. I'm so happy that his friend was on Hinge a few years back, where I could go to a sketch show and learn of all this very funny guy that I enjoy working with.
That is such a funny story. I love the layers of the detail of it. And really, like, I saw that with NPR, and it's cool. But the quick turnaround, you know, it is such a specific.
That's his fault. I blame him. He wanted that turnaround. When I hired Andy, I was like, oh yeah, don't worry about it. We'll release it in January. And then John Marco was like, we got to do it before the election. So I think we edited it in a week. It was insane.
No way.
Yeah, we did. So here's what happened. So
a week.
We have a week. Yeah. So our initial, believe it. Our initial filming, or our initial meeting, I think was in late August. That was when I initially met him for the drink. Not met him, but like had the drink in our meeting about this. And then a few weeks later, we had the team, and like a week after that, we filmed it. It went fast because we were up against the weather. We were up against, a new wave of coronavirus restrictions. We were up against the election because Andy works at CNN, and I'm a journalist as well. And so, like, we knew that the weeks ahead of the election, we were going to be so busy. So we had to finish it before he was sent to all across the nation to follow the candidates, and before I was stuck writing about everything. So we did. We edited in a week. It was crazy. So what we did, like in the morning, we would send notes, and then Andy would edit in the day, in between stuff, and then in the evening we'd watch it, and then send notes again, and then Andy would edit it in the morning. It was like we had about like a 4 days. Notes, edit, notes, edit, notes, edit. I can't believe how fast that turnaround was. That was a lot.
That is very impressive. And I highly recommend everyone check it out, at least just to see that impressive. Like, I think anyone, you know, like, I think everyone has their own comedy taste. You know, like my boyfriend saw it and he was like laughing hysterically and just loved, like, hey, bud. He also just bought me these flowers, which you can't really see, but
that's so sweet. It's nice to have a boyfriend who brings you flowers. I don't have a boyfriend. But maybe he'll bring me a Christmas tree if I get one by Christmas, because I need one. And they're not that expensive. I bet you Christmas trees are cheaper than flowers, right? No, I'm lying. I don't know.
Sure, there could be some. Right. I mean, I'm Jewish, so I've never bought one.
I know. You what? Oh, Christmas. Oh, Jewish. Yeah. I needed to buy a Christmas tree. That's whatever. Who cares? I don't know where I'm going with this. All right, so back to what you were saying.
Well, no, but okay, let's get into the holiday spirit here and talk about the Hanukkah haunting and Christmas pitch, because you've got both holidays covered.
Yes. Okay. So in quarantine, before I reached out to John Marco, I was following his jokes on Twitter, laughing. Then when I wasn't laughing at his stuff, I was in quarantine crying like everyone. And then no, I wasn't crying that much, just a little bit, just once a day. All right. So then what I would do, is I was so bored. And so I as an experiment, I decided, okay, I'm going to write 3 things. I'm going to write a horror, I'm going to write a Hallmark style romance, and I'm going to write I'm just going to revamp Christmas fart, which we're going to call it Christmas with a bleep. So it's not, we're going to bleep fart. I don't know. If the title, some people don't like the title, and I get it. But we're working on it. Okay. So anyway, so the Hallmark, I have 3 holiday audio dramas coming up this season. And it started as an experiment in quarantine, because the only thing that I figured we could do was I could write something, and then most of the voice actors had their own home studio. Right. And our director, Barrett Letty, did direction through Zoom. So we would like Zoom in, all of us, to their home studio, and our associate producer, Jess Griffin, would like highlight the script and then send it to them. So then they all had their highlighted parts. So everyone recorded their parts separately at their home studio in Zoom. And then we just, Cam Smithson put it together. So Hanukkah Haunting, it has some Broadway guys. It has Allison Frazier in it, 2-time Tony nominee. It has Emily Kramer, Josh Davis. And then we have Sarah Nato-Chinny. Sorry, Sarah. We have Sarah, and she's the voice of Ash in Pokemon, which is in it. So she's in that. We have Mike Pollock, which is the voice of Dr. Eggman in Sonic the Hedgehog. So we've got a lot of really cool people. Yeah, Barrett Letty, my director, he hooked us up with everyone. He knows them. I was lucky to work with them. He's the one that like knows them. And so he got that cast. Hanukkah Haunting came out, and it's doing really well so far. We're not on Audible yet, but it's doing really well. We're in talks. Well, it's a very long story. Love Audible. There was a miscommunication with my distributor and Audible, so it should be up. I'll say it'll be up by Christmas. No,
I'm very upset it's not on Audible.
No, I know. Because everyone has Audible, and no one pays $10 for an audiobook on Apple, and they might. But they don't need to when it's on Audible. So anyway, we'll be on Audible. I actually think we'll be on Audible within 2 weeks. So I'm going to put a timestamp. Yeah. So. I hope so. Oh, yeah, definitely. I hope so. So Hanukkah Haunting was fun. That was a horror. We went SAG on that one because there's screaming. It's so good. I love Hanukkah Haunting. The cast is so fun. And then we have Christmas Pitch, which I wrote and directed this one. I starred it barely. I don't really star. I have like 2 lines. I'm a flight attendant. I have the first line where I say now boarding to Dallas Love Field Airport or something. And so it's based in Texas. And basically what I do with that is I just watched all these Hallmark movies. And I figured that considering this year, they probably wouldn't have new Hallmark movies because of the pandemic, which I think I was wrong on that because I think they have a lot of new movies. But I didn't think they would. And so I decided maybe I'll write a Hallmark one to fill that hole. Because like I said earlier, I go where no one else goes. So that was a lie because apparently Audible is like on fire. Everyone's writing audiobooks. Not audio dramas, but audiobooks. But that was fun. So that one was just like, it's almost a parody. But if you don't know me, you're really going to think that I really meant it. There's lots of Jesus. There's lots of love. There's this woman who, goes back home for the holidays and rekindles her own romance. Oh, actually, here's the pitch for it. I'll give you the little elevator pitch. Christmas pitch. Anne, a Texas-based saleswoman, goes back to Arlington, Texas for Christmas. But she has a very big pitch coming up. However, a fling from her past might have a proposal of a different kind. Yeah.
I love it.
Thank you. And then Christmas fart, who knows? I mean, that's just my family, kind of, not all of it, because there's some crazy stuff that I added for fun. But Christmas fart, that comes out December 1st. I don't know. I like it. It's my family. I don't know if everyone will like it, but I had a lot of fun with that. And that has half of the original cast from my 10-minute play, my first New York play as well.
Yeah. I think it's so impressive getting the writing done. I think right now with the pandemic, like it's so hard on everyone, and you putting in the effort and the time and the energy to actually get this work out there, and people are definitely responding to it and they're going to love it, and it's really inspiring to like not just do one, but you did 3 new things. And
well, I did it. The thing is, I didn't.
Vamp.
Oh, sorry, I cut you off. No,
No.
I didn't think that, like, when I brought Barrett on, I didn't think he was going to get all these big names. I just thought it was like, I totally was like, experiment. I'll just have my friends do it. We'll throw it up and who cares?
Yeah.
But like, Barrett came on and completely did help kind of revamp it for audio as well with some of the rewrites and additional material by. So yeah, the thing is, it's bigger than I thought it was going to be. I'll say it like that. I really thought it was just going to be us in a basement making jokes. And now it's soon will be on Audible. It's available. I keep joking about Audible. It's available everywhere else. Apple Books, Google Play. If you have a Scribd membership, it's on all the libraries except Audible. So you can get a free trial for pretty much anything, and you can listen to it except Audible.
I'm laughing because it's this perfect, like, you could be saying, oh yeah, just find it on Google Play, or oh, go find it here.
Oh,
you keep, it's like this pain in you that you can't stop saying, if only we had it on Audible.
Yes. Yeah. Well, because the money there, that's where the money is. So fun fact for you guys listening, audiobooks. Okay. So I produced the album for Good Morning New York, and we only make 0.003 cents per stream through Spotify and anything. So I make less than a cent per stream for Good Morning New York, the album. However, for the audiobooks, I'm just going to spill a little secret for you. Audiobooks, Google Play and Apple Books pay me around $5 per stream for an audiobook, and which is so much. It was like so much more than writing an album and putting it out there. I think Audible will pay. I don't know the exact numbers, but I think that Audible would be between $1 and $5 per stream. But everyone has Audible right now. It's the pandemic. So it's like they have that membership where you get free credits and stuff, and you can always exchange. Right. So that's why I keep saying Audible, because Audible is the thing that actually is going to like surge the money in there. So that's why I keep saying it, because that's what everyone has. It's kind of hard. It's very hard to get me to say, hey, can you please buy my 40-minute audiobook for $10, opposed to saying, hey, can you just you already have Audible for $14.99 a month. Can you just get a credit, listen to it, and whatever. So that's why I keep shooting for Audible, because although I love $5 a stream on Apple Books and Google Play, I will say that people don't buy that.
I understand. I see that now. I mean, especially because I've been doing these YouTube videos and I started a podcast, and you have to have the love for it, or else there are way more things that actually would pay you a significant amount of money other than doing like passion projects, which you hope in turn will pay you. But it is interesting to hear the different platforms of like, whether it's a podcast or an audiobook or streaming or whatever it is, that, people say like, oh, can you rate and review my podcast? And I remember hearing that on your podcast. It's like, you hear it all the time, but actually it really helps, because then it gets like higher up in the rankings. And there's all these things that when you're not just the creative and you're also the business person, like we were talking about earlier, you actually have to think about these like details that the average consumer is like, oh, well, I have this, let me just do it on that. And you're like, cool, that's awesome. Thank you so much. Do you also mind hopping over here and rating it, or however it might be for that?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I also think of when it's like music. Some people release their like a demo on SoundCloud, but I don't go to SoundCloud to listen to music. Like I don't even have it. I don't know. Is it an app? I don't know. It's like, I think it might be, but the thing is like, why would you release it on SoundCloud when you can release it on Spotify or Apple Music? And so that's this is going to sound so bad. Sorry, Apple Books and Google Play, but I hope they don't get me on this, but like, why would, you want to release your stuff where the market is. And whether there's money or not, the great thing about the industry is you can write all of it off.
Oh, yeah.
Tax write-off. Tax write-offs, Like if you
Still
invest in
learning about all
equipment.
of it.
Oh yeah, well, I got a great CPA. I'll tell you. Oh, Fen. Her name's Fen. She's the best. Basically, you buy some equipment, you hire a team, and you produce something. Exactly, like your microphone. You can write that off. You produce something, and then whatever you make, profits or losses, in the first few years of having a production company, which I've experienced, you have losses. So then your equipment and what you paid, you can write off, and you can get money back, and then use that for the next project.
Amazing. I'm writing this
Yeah.
down. You know, who doesn't
Yeah,
need this?
write it off. You can write off like where you are right now, your home office.
Yeah.
That's a write-off.
Amazing.
Doing your podcast at home is a write-off. Yeah, I think about money too much. The thing is, I know I sound like I think about money too much. I my main love is writing, but there's also a part of me that just once it's done, I just really like getting out there and promoting it, and then watching the analytics and seeing if it sinks or floats. Because I never do it with the intention of knowing I'll get my money back. Because in the arts, especially the stage that I'm at, I'm probably not getting my money back. And I know that. Like I don't go in and like produce stuff at a warehouse and think, Broadway.com's gonna cover it and I'm gonna be famous. Like no, like there was someone, I won't name names or say too much info, but this wonderful person had a play that was fine, and this person produced it at like this weird location with like no set and chairs, and that she's like, I'm gonna charge $60 a ticket, and it's like no one is coming except I don't know who, but like that's the thing, you can't do it for the money. And if you find a venue that's free, I'm just on a rant now, but my long story short, don't expect to get money. But also there's so many venues that will pay you some, that will be enough for set and cast and whatever. So I know I'm joking about my audiobooks. I love them dearly. And someday I'll recoup.
No, but it's
not
great.
this year.
It's not this year, but I mean, I feel like a lot of people aren't going to recoup this year. So that's.
Oh my gosh! Did you hear about those Broadway shows? That legal battle going on? Like the Broadway producers sued. I think they filed lawsuits against their insurance companies because insurance isn't covering losses, ticket sale losses.
I mean, how are they? Without going like too much into it, like Broadway can't be open right now for many reasons, and like we need Broadway to come back. We need off-Broadway and off-Broadway and regional and all of those things to come back. So we need, they can't be dealing with these losses for a year and a half or whatever, you know, knock on wood. Hopefully we do get it. What, next June, I know everyone has different thoughts and only time will tell. And hopefully with the new administration coming in, hopefully we have some more COVID relief funds and pandemic relief and all of those things. But yeah, I mean, I certainly don't know enough. I've been trying to read up and learn about the money aspects and the producing aspects, because I think it's fascinating what it takes to be on Broadway or off-Broadway or off-Broadway just to physically get there, let alone the ticket sales. Do you ever think about like the pandemic happened after Good Morning New York opened off-Broadway and that you at least had that experience?
All the time, probably every day. So I don't know for sure, but I do believe from what I've looked at that my musical was the last one to close officially as we planned, have a complete off-Broadway run before the pandemic. Because we only closed a few weeks before they shut everything down. And I think that in my case, I think that the reason why I'm still kicking and I'm doing these audiobooks, I have Mask and Musicals, by the way, little plug. Every Tuesday, we'll get to that. But every Tuesday in New York City, I actually do have Broadway cabaret karaoke. Come to Bar 9 in Manhattan. Just go to jacklynthrapp.com and then you can sing songs for free, and you can sing songs for free, where it's like the socially distanced stage. I can't believe that it's legal, but they let us do it. And so we're keeping it alive. But the reason why I think I'm still kicking, and a lot of like the arts has just been shattered, is because like I still, my battery, I have a day job. And so all my projects I've done this year, the audiobooks and Mass and Musicals, I've been funding that from my day job. And the unfortunate thing is a lot of people in the arts, that was their day job. So it's just kind of like, I got lucky in the fact that like I was working like 18-hour days, news in the morning, entertainment at night. And that's how I always did it. But yeah, it's so unfortunate for everyone in this industry, because not only can you not perform or have a stage, but also the restaurant jobs, there's not a lot of those either, because now those owners of the restaurants can't afford to pay. So now the owners are the waiters and the bartenders. So the waiters and the bartenders are now unemployed. It's just like, it's so unfortunate. I don't know how the city's going to come back. I'm sure it will, but there's just the amount of losses from the Broadway community, and then some of the restaurant community that does support people who are in the industry. It's the amount of losses. It's everywhere. I don't know how we're getting the money back.
Lots of deep breaths, trying to figure it all out, and just hope for the best, and hope that someone maybe does a big donation. That would be great. I don't know. I
know that Chuck Schumer, I don't know how far it went, but Chuck Schumer did have the Save Our Stages Act. I'm not sure how far that went. He pitched it with Jerry Seinfeld. That I think offers relief for producers and actors and theaters. I don't know about actors, but I'll have to look at it again. But I think there's relief. There has to be. How could they not save the industry? And they have to. That would be crazy if Broadway didn't get relief.
100%. I 100% agree with you. It would just be bonkers. So, with the few minutes that we have left, because I want to be conscious of your time, can you share any nonprofits or charities that you'd like to make sure to give a shout out to?
Oh, yeah. So, big fan of the Actors Fund. Love that. I think that a lot of people are using that resource right now. So, I always say Actors Fund first. I also just moved into a new apartment, very small, 136 square feet. I'm getting mail from the lady who used to live here. It's for this dog and cat shelter. Somewhere in New York, I don't know. So I'm not donating to that, but I will soon. And before I do, I'd like you to as well, on behalf of me. No, but I'd say donate to the cats and dogs. I love them. I take care of them. I have to keep sending the mail back, but like whatever they're giving her some hefty free stuff, donating to the cats and dogs. It's like, oh, cool. Sorry, I have to send this back. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is, but it looks like she's donating some money to those fellas there. So yeah, donate to those. And an Actors Fund. That's certainly what I would donate to.
Yeah,
I'm broke now, but sometimes I paid way too much money on way too many things. But really, Masks and Musicals every Tuesday at Bar 9 in Manhattan, 7 to 9, free. You can sing any song you want.
That's amazing. Yeah, I'm so glad you brought that up. I had that on my little notes, and I was like, oh, yeah, because it's so neat to have that. And look, right now, donating, spending money is really tough because a lot of people are out of work. So don't be there. There are a lot of ways that you can help people, even just spreading the word of their work on social media or by word of mouth to friends. So I also like to, while we talk about nonprofits and charities, I also like to say that there are a lot of free ways that you can help your friends who are in the arts and help the artists that maybe you don't personally know, but you love their work. So like share their videos and share their music. And maybe if a friend's like, hey, I'm looking for a new podcast, or I'm looking for a new musical or audiobook, just by introducing someone else to that artist
just share
or
it.
that
Just
writer.
share it on your Instagram. Just share it.
It's great.
Say, read it. It's good. I'm not paying $10 for it, but pretend I did. Read it.
Exactly. So definitely take a moment, let everyone know where they can find you, and like any last things that you want to self-promote, this is a great time.
Cool. Let's see. I pretty much self-promoted all of it. But okay, you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Jacklyn Thrapp. I have a website, jacklynthrapp.com. Listen to the audiobooks or holiday audio dramas with like a full original soundtrack from the guy that did music in my Off-Broadway musical, Good Morning New York. So that composer's back. We just don't sing this time. It just plays behind as they kiss and scream. So listen to that. And Shelf Life is on Amazon Prime for free if you have Prime. And my last word is like, there are ways to create. And I would recommend for anyone who wants to do an audiobook, it's free to distribute through Findaway Voices. So you can write your own audio drama. You can have your friends voice it with their mics. I mean, you can do it for a few $100 or less, especially if everyone does it for free. You could do it for free. And then you make, they say, you can make up to between $1 and $4 a listen. And that's a lot more than if you were to produce your own off-Broadway album.
Sips water, sips tea. I love it. It's a good.
Yeah. That's what I love about producing, promoting, and writing my own work. It's like, oh, manager, are you mad at me for sharing the numbers? Nope, because I'm the manager. But I say audiobooks are fun, and you'll probably make some money from it.
That's awesome. Well, very cool. Thank you for that heads up. Y'all can find me at B-Way Show, as you see here. That's BWAYSHO on Instagram, YouTube. I have a podcast. Just search B-Way Show, the podcast. Super easy for you. And I mentioned earlier, there's Andy and Eva, some of my Showtreons. That's the B-Way Show Patreon. So thank you. We do weekly trivia and monthly video chats. It's a fun time. Come check it out if that's something you're up for. But really, I just appreciate you coming on and chatting with us today and giving us some of those like behind the scenes that I think a lot of people are curious about, but don't have that way in to like learn about it. So I really appreciate that.
Oh, well, thanks. Happy to do it.
Yay. Well, I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you to everyone watching from home. You're awesome. And we'll see you at the show. Bye, y'all.
Bye.